It's a question that has echoed through the ages, a whisper in the quietest moments of faith. If there is a God, and if this God has a grand, overarching plan for everything, then why do we pray? Why do we lift our voices, our hopes, and our fears to the heavens if the story is already written from the very first page to the last? It seems like a contradiction, doesn't it? A puzzle. We are told that God is all-knowing, seeing the beginning from the end. So are our prayers just words spoken into the wind, unheard, or simply noted down in a cosmic ledger that's already been closed? This is a thought that can challenge even the most devout among us. This question isn't just a modern curiosity, it is a fundamental query that sits at the very heart of faith itself. Think about it. We are taught to ask for things, to seek intervention, to plead for a different outcome. Yet we are also taught to trust in a divine will, a path laid out for us. It can feel like trying to steer a ship that is already on a set course, guided by an unseen hand. Are we meant to simply be passengers on this journey, or are we given the oars and expected to row? This tension, this beautiful and sometimes frustrating mystery, is where the true purpose of prayer begins to reveal itself to us. Many people across different faiths and cultures have grappled with this very idea. They have wondered if their small voice could truly make a difference in a universe so vast, governed by a plan so immense. But what if we've been looking at the purpose of prayer from the wrong angle all along? What if prayer isn't about changing the destination, but about changing the traveler for the journey ahead? Perhaps its power lies not in altering the grand cosmic blueprint, but in transforming our own hearts and minds, preparing us for whatever the path may hold. It's a shift in perspective that changes everything. So let's explore this together. Let's delve into why billions of people, from the ancient temples of India to the grand cathedrals of Europe and the quiet mosques of the Middle East, continue to pray. They pray with passion, with hope, and with unwavering belief. They do it not because they think God is unaware of their needs, but for reasons that are far more personal, far more profound. Prayer is not a transaction, it is a relationship. And like any relationship, it is the communication, the connection itself, that holds the true transformative power we all seek. It is a dialogue with the divine. Imagine feeling utterly alone in a crowded room. Now think about the feeling of a trusted friend taking your hand, looking you in the eye, and truly listening. That, in its essence, is what prayer is for countless people. It is a direct line to the divine, a personal and intimate connection that transcends the noise of the world. It's not always about asking for something specific, like winning a lottery or getting a promotion. More often, it's about simply being heard, about sharing the weight of our existence with a presence we believe is greater than ourselves. This act of sharing, of speaking our truth into the quiet, creates a powerful sense of companionship. This connection offers immense comfort, especially in our darkest hours. When we are faced with grief, with fear, or with a challenge that seems too big to handle on our own, prayer becomes a sanctuary. It is a space where we can be completely vulnerable without fear of judgment. We can pour out our sorrows, our anxieties, and our deepest insecurities. In doing so, we don't necessarily expect the problem to magically disappear, but what we often find is a sense of peace, a feeling that we are not bearing the burden alone. This shared burden feels lighter, more manageable, bringing a calm that is hard to find elsewhere. Think of a child who runs to their parent after a fall. The child isn't asking the parent to rewind time and prevent the fall. They are seeking comfort, reassurance, and the soothing presence of someone they trust completely. Prayer functions in a very similar way. It is our way of running to our spiritual parent. We are saying, I am here, I am hurting, I am confused, and I need to feel your presence. This simple act of reaching out reaffirms our faith and reminds us that we are part of something much larger than our immediate troubles, providing a profound sense of security. Ultimately, prayer is a declaration that we are not just specks of dust in a random universe. It is an affirmation of our relationship with God. In Christianity, Islam, Hinduism, Judaism, and so many other belief systems, this personal dialogue is a cornerstone of faith. It's the spiritual equivalent of a daily conversation with a loved one. You don't talk to your family only to ask for things. You talk to share your day, to listen, and to strengthen the bond between you. Prayer does the same for our spiritual bond, nurturing it and keeping it alive and vibrant. Life is full of crossroads, big and small. Which career path should I take? How should I handle this difficult relationship? What is the right thing to do in this complicated situation? These are questions that can leave us feeling lost and uncertain. Prayer for many acts as an inner compass. It is a quiet time for reflection, a moment to step away from the chaos of conflicting advice and opinions, and to seek clarity from a higher wisdom. When we pray for guidance, we are not necessarily expecting a booming voice from the heavens to give us a direct answer. Instead, the process of praying for guidance helps us to quiet our own minds. It allows us to untangle the knots of our own thoughts and emotions. By articulating our problem to God, we often begin to see it more clearly ourselves. It's like talking a problem through with a wise, silent friend. The act of laying out all the options, the fears, and the hopes involved can itself illuminate the path forward. Often, the answer we are seeking was within us all along, and prayer simply helped us to find it, to recognize the quiet whisper of our own intuition, which many believe is God's way of speaking to us. Prayer also gives us the strength to follow that guidance once we find it. It's one thing to know the right path, but it's another thing entirely to have the courage to walk it, especially if it's difficult. When we pray for strength, we are tapping into a reservoir of resilience that we might not have known we possessed. It's a way of bolstering our resolve, of finding the inner fortitude to face challenges head-on. This isn't about God removing the obstacle. It's about God giving us the strength to climb over it, making us stronger in the process. This change is not external but internal. Prayer can fundamentally alter our perspective and our actions. For example, someone praying to overcome anger might not have their circumstances changed, but they may find themselves feeling more patient and compassionate. Their reactions to old triggers begin to soften. They start responding with kindness instead of frustration. This is a real, tangible change. Prayer reshaped their inner world, which in turn reshaped their actions in the outer world. It is a powerful tool for personal growth and self-improvement, guided by a divine partnership. So we return to our original question: if God's plan is set, why pray? Perhaps the most beautiful answer is that prayer is not about changing God's plan, but about aligning ourselves with it. It's about becoming an active and willing participant in our own life story, not a passive observer. Imagine you are part of a grand orchestra. The composer has already written the symphony. Your prayer is not to ask the composer to rewrite the music for you. Your prayer is the act of tuning your instrument, of learning your part, and of playing it in perfect harmony with everyone else. This perspective transforms prayer from a list of demands into a conversation of growth. We are not just asking for things. We are asking for understanding, for wisdom, and for the grace to accept the things we cannot change. We are asking God, help me understand my role in this plan. Help me to see the good in this situation. Help me to grow from this experience. This is a much more profound and mature form of prayer. It is less about changing our circumstances and more about allowing our circumstances to change us for the better with God as our guide. Through this ongoing dialogue, we grow closer to the divine. Every prayer, whether it's a cry of anguish or a whisper of gratitude, deepens that relationship. Just as spending quality time with a person builds intimacy and trust, spending time in prayer builds our spiritual intimacy. We begin to see God's hand, not just in the grand miracles, but in the small, everyday moments. A beautiful sunset, a kind word from a stranger, a sudden moment of peace. Prayer opens our eyes and our hearts to the sacred that is all around us all the time. It makes life a richer, more meaningful experience. In the end, prayer is an act of hope. It is an expression of our belief that we are part of a story that has meaning and purpose. It doesn't deny the existence of a divine plan, it embraces it. Prayer is our way of saying, I am here, I am listening, I am ready to play my part. Guide me, strengthen me, and walk with me on this journey. It is a conversation that changes not the plan, but the planner within ourselves. And in that change, we find connection, we find comfort, and we find the strength to live our lives with faith and courage, no matter what the divine plan may hold.